This class involves multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, and cerebral palsy. Multiple sclerosis is a disease that is available worldwide, but it is the highest in the United States. And several of the following slides will indicate why that is so. Oftentimes people with colder climates, as you can see, so between certain latitudes is a risk factor for multiple sclerosis. And what's interesting about multiple sclerosis is there are, about 400,000 people in the US, but there's no mandatory reporting tracking system. So these are just estimates. And what it does, it's an immune system attack of your central nervous system. So it affects the brain, the spine, and the optic nerve. So people can have vision problems. So the myelin tissue, so the myelin sheath that covers nerves, starts to atrophy. And sclerotic tissue forms instead. So it's like a scar tissue. The progression of MS appears not to be affected by exercise, but like many chronic diseases, exercise improves fitness and quality of life. Risk factors for MS. Most common in Caucasians of Northern European ancestry. And it's interesting because in certain populations, it's almost non-existent. So researchers don't really understand why some people seem to be genetically susceptible to MS versus others. So if you look at some cultures like Australian Aboriginal people, Inuits in the Arctic regions, and the Hungarian Romanis, they have almost no MS. So as on the previous map, we mentioned that living above 40-degree latitude, and that there might be some issues, an intersection of your ethnicity and where you live. It is more common in women, typically diagnosed in early adulthood to middle age. Age 30 is most common. Although one of the students last year had a classmate who was recently diagnosed with MS, an undergraduate. So age 20, 21. There is a potential genetic component. And it's interesting because they do seem to find some potential geographic clusters in certain regions. So once again, is this intersection of people who are maybe genetically similar as well as particular environment. It may have some relationship to potential infectious agents such as herpes type viruses or the Epstein-Barr virus, which causes chronic fatigue. The symptoms of MS. And once again, like as we covered with the other chronic diseases, the chronic fatigue-like illnesses, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, a lot of these are very vague, and people can take a very long time to get diagnosed with it. The undergraduate student said that her friend, it took months. It took about 6 to 9 months for them to finally come to the conclusion that she had MS. But you can see some of these are a little vague, and they're not specifically tied to MS. Numbness in the face, gait problems, so real clumsiness problems, vision problems, double vision. I remember reading recently about Jack Osborne. He had actually lost vision in his eye, and that was one of the warning signs. Dizziness and vertigo, low sex drives, memory loss, pain, irritability, depression, spasticity in the muscles, and a low blood pressure response. So a lot of these are not really specific except for something maybe, as the vision problems or the numbness in the face and the extremities.